Welcome back to College Football Addiction. Brian from Clemson Football Live and another college football podcast. We'll link both of those in the description. Brian, how you doing on this fine Monday morning?
I'm doing really, really well. It's nice and cold here in the upstate of South Carolina. I hear a little later on this week it'll be 80. So you'll go from 25 degrees to 80. So, who knows how to dress. But I will tell you this, you were right. I was wrong. You picked my team to beat your team. And I'm kind of shocked, but hey, you were right.
Well, I wish I wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't take any pride in that. We'll talk about Louisville here in a minute, but yeah, the doubts that I had about Florida State, they were all apparent. And I haven't talked about the FSU game on this channel just because I was out of town and didn't get back until late last night with all this mess. Like I had a flight canceled and had to book another, just kind of a mess. So I got in at like 2 a.m. But and then my kids had something like first thing at school this morning. So I was like, oh man, can't wait to wake up at 6 to go to that. Which I did do because I'm an okay dad.
Because you're a good man.
Yeah, well, I'm exhausted, but I did do it. As I crack open another Diet Dr. Pepper here to help wake me up.
You're like, where am I at and do I have pants on?
Yeah, what are we even talking about this year,
Yeah.
Here I am recapping a game of two teams under 500 at this point. But the worries I had about FSU were that, listen, they had the number one offense in a lot of categories, yards per game and a lot of things. I mean, they scored a lot of points and stuff. I was worried that a lot of that was a bit of smoke and mirrors. And, they had a good offensive showing from a yardage perspective, but they just can't, they struggle to finish at times in the red zone. The tricky stuff is harder to do once you get down inside the 20 and certainly inside the 10. They got a little bit tricky early in the game and it cost them with a fumble and they missed a field goal. The game should have been, just on the, you drop a big pass. The game should have been closer. Like I thought they schemed it up well enough to where if you don't fumble the ball on the 10-yard line, then you may get 7 points there. If you don't drop that wide open pass, you may just get 3 there, or Pittman may end up going to the end zone. And then if you make your field goal in the first half, Florida State could have had anywhere from like 13 to 17 more points in the first half. And what were they down? A couple of scores at halftime? Like they would have been, either FSU leading or it being, maybe a 3-point game or tied or something very close. And when they went, their offense just isn't, you could put up all the yards, you can put up all the points against bad teams. If you remove, 130 plus points that they scored against a couple of FCS teams, the offense doesn't look quite as good. And when you think about the fact that in some of their other games, they were trailing by so much. Their defense was so atrocious against Virginia that they had to go out and score every single time. Yeah. And so, the offense has been fine, but it did get exposed against a bad defense, but a talented defense. Sammy made a lot of nice plays in that game, and Florida State just didn't finish very well. Was it, as much as I crap all over Florida State, I thought Clemson played a very clean game. I thought they didn't put the ball in harm's way as much. They did what they needed to do to be effective, and they didn't try to do too much. I thought that Clemson did a really good job of like, hey, we're not going to give this game away to Florida State. Like if they come in and beat us because they're just more effective, I think Clemson probably knew like, hey, this offense isn't quite as good as maybe, we think it is being portrayed as. Let's just not do anything stupid and let's go out and get the win. And I think that was a good strategy of like, let's not put this up on a silver platter for them to go take it. We're going to try and do the little things right. And the offense struggled early, but eventually they found their rhythm and they did enough. They moved the ball very effectively and they had to settle for some field goals, which I'm sure annoyed Clemson fans at times. But against an offense that they were playing against that just could not do anything all night, that was the right way to play it. And so are you like, I know the season's kind of gone anyway, and things will get tougher here in the last couple of weeks or 2 of the last 3 games. But was it encouraging are you so far out that you're like, who even cares at this point? Or was it encouraging to see them at least play well in this matchup?
I think it's according to who you ask when you talk to me, and of course, I tell you this, TJ, I'm going to let you and your viewers know that there's a video that I'm going to do later today, unless something happens and I have to postpone it tomorrow. I'm going to give you a glimpse into the next video I'm going to do, and it will seal my fate as the most hated Clemson YouTuber, and it's the response to this game. You know, there's the part of me who's like, okay, they got to win. Good for them. I feel good for some of the players they've been fighting and they go out and they win this game. And Clemson's been atrocious at home since the South Carolina game last year. So there's that part of me. There's that part of me of just being a fan. There's also that part of me that looks at the long term and goes, if we win a few more games, will that deter Sweeney from making the proper changes that would actually change the trajectory of the team? So that will be my next video, and it's interesting. You didn't even ask me or tell me what your lead up question was going to be, and it actually is setting up quite well. See, we're on the same wave, man. No, let's talk about this game a little bit before we get into Louisville. I think it was very interesting that when you and I were talking, I think it was Friday night, about this, Thursday or Friday night, we were talking about this game. You pointed out, you said, if Castellanos has to throw the football a lot, we lose. Yeah. He threw 43 passes.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
In a low-scoring game. It's not like this is a 35-31 game.
No. Yeah, you're exactly right. So I went and I looked at that stat. I was doing my reaction to the game, you know, it's post-game game. It just ended. And I was just glancing over the stats and I went, holy smokes, he nailed that, you know. Yeah. So, you know, 43 passes by Castellanos. I think one of the interesting stats in this ball game is that the sack leader in the game for Clemson was our cornerback, Avion Terrell. Yeah. Twice they brought him off the edge. Now, let's pause there. Let's go back to that Duke game. You know, Duke, who beat us at home and just lost to UConn. Yeah, last week when Clemson, we had busted coverage against their top receiver who was playing at Harvard before this, and he ended up scoring a touchdown. I believe it was Avion Terrell that was coming off the edge again, but I want to say there was a busted assignment or a misunderstanding between he and the safety, and of course, Barkay ended up wide open, scores a touchdown. We've seen Tom Allen bring that pressure before. This time it worked twice against Florida State and at pivotal moments of the game. I find it very interesting that you guys had some penalties at some really crazy times that not only bit you in the butt, but truly changed the trajectory of the game. The drops that I saw from Florida State was very interesting. You referenced the one with Pittman. I'm sitting there going, bro, you're D1. You can't drop that pass, man.
Yeah. He's been one of their better players.
Especially after you sit there and you watch Indiana within 4 passes make 2 of the most incredible completions, and you can't catch a wide open pass. So anyway, with that said, I was shocked at Florida State that they did what they did. I was shocked at Clemson, but I would tell you this: there are some Clemson fans that's like, yes, I'm glad we got the win, but dude, we took our foot off the pedal in the second half. Florida State could have come back. So anyway, it was an interesting game. You know, I hope everyone in Clemson treated you well and they were not jerks because everyone was upset about this season. But yeah, it's really, really weird, and it's setting up for a really weird game with Louisville this coming Friday night after they lost.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well,
crazy.
The other thing, not to pat myself on, but the thing that I was the most worried about was us starting slow. And surprisingly, the defense did a good job early. The defense, we got some good punts. We put you guys now after that first drive, right? The scripted drive where Clemson kind of did whatever they wanted. I thought the defense settled in really nicely and gave the offense a chance to do something. And the offense just could never get anything going, from the drop pass to the missed field goals to just whatever the situation was. The offense never picked the defense up. And finally, the defense got tired and Clemson took a couple score lead. And that was kind of just the end of it. Like I didn't think that this team would be built to come back. And I know the Clemson fans, you just referenced it, will maybe say, well, we took our foot off the gas. It's hard to put your foot back on the gas once you do, but I also think that Clemson knew, like, this offense isn't doing anything against us, right? And like, if we have to turn it back up, we will. But man, Florida State's I came away not that upset with the defense. I thought they were pretty good. Special teams wasn't very good. offense was atrocious. But I thought if you'd have told me before the game we hold Clemson to 24, I'd have said we probably win. Like if that was our number that we were at, like if they only scored 24 points, Florida State probably wins this game. I think most people would have agreed with that. I think before the game, like nobody saw this as a 24-21 game. I liked the over a lot. We had scored 42 the week before. You'd given up 46. Like I think we thought that it may not go that high, but I think we all kind of thought it'd be higher scoring. So we'll see. That is the question though. And yeah, the Clemson folks are always great. Like it is, like I'm not trying to say this just to butter their butts or get them to subscribe, but if you'd like to subscribe, it is free.
Yeah, don't stop.
the Clemson fans are always the very nicest. Like I rented a truck and like I'm backing the truck in and stuff, and this Clemson fans like got beer in one hand and chicken in the other, and he's like backing me up. And so anyway, they're always super nice, and everybody was this guy walking out of the stadium kind of had the same sentiment. He's like, "Boy, I'm glad we won." He looked at it, he said, "Boy, I'm glad we won, but I don't know what either of the both of us are going to do." And I was like, man, I'm the same way, buddy. Like, congratulations on the win, but you drive home safe. He's like, are you, where are you from? He was super nice, but the Clemson fans were great. The big question is how they, and it's such a weird spot, right? For Clemson fans, like it was for Florida State 2 weeks ago. Like I went into this game expecting to lose and then we lost. Now we lost a little bit differently than I thought we would, but it probably gets us closer to our overall goal of massive changes being made at the top. So I don't even think Florida State fans are that upset. I think, in the moment you're upset with how your team is playing, but you're not like flipping out because you're like, well, we were supposed to lose that game anyway. We were an underdog. We played like crap, like whatever. It is a weird spot for Clemson fans because it's like, well, do you want to go on the road and beat Louisville because you never want to see your team lose a game. But at the same time, like, I don't even think they'll be that upset. If they lose, they'll be like, all right, very good. Like that's probably better for the overall health of the program. And then you never want to lose to South Carolina at the end of the year. But if you do, you say, man, whatever. It gets us closer to what we need to do and there be change. I do wonder for the team because they certainly don't view things like me and you view things. For the actual team and the players, can they stack multiple good performances on top of each other? Can they grab the confidence from last week, though Florida State's not a good team? Can they stack that against a Louisville team that is very beatable? Like we just saw 2 days ago. This is not, I think a week ago we kind of had Louisville in this upper tier of like, man, they could win anything. Like they look really good and all this stuff. And now, and that's maybe just a microcosm of the ACC in general. Like you can win games you're not supposed to, and you can lose games you're not supposed to. But I do think that sets up for how does Clemson respond? How does Louisville respond? Because I think Louisville will absolutely play their tails off because they're coming off of that loss. You'd almost rather, if you're a Clemson fan, them have won that game. But I think that sets up kind of an interesting dynamic on Friday night, which is not going to be an easy game for anybody. I will get right back to the video, but first let me give some love to our friends over at Sleeper. We've told you all season, you need to be on the Sleeper app, whether you're checking scores, whether you're playing the more or less game to make some money with us on the Power 2 on Wednesdays. Get over to the Sleeper app right now. Use our code CFA for a 100% match up to $100. Terms and conditions apply, so check their terms of use for more details. The Sleeper app is where you need to be as this college football season wraps up. And the Power 2 is where you need to be so that you make some money with us on Wednesdays live at noon.
No, it's not. Clemson, even back in 2017, the year in between Deshaun and Trevor Lawrence, we had Kelly Bryant. That was a really good football team. Went up to Syracuse. Kelly gets knocked out cold. We lose that game on a Friday night. Of course, we know in 2023, Clemson travels up to play Mike Elko.
Oh yeah,
on Memorial Day, and gets thrashed. Clemson, they really don't do well on these off nights. But especially with this football team going up and playing a very angry Louisville team. Okay. And on my other channel, and I appreciate you mentioning another college football podcast, as I'm talking about other teams, I looked at Indiana this past week and said, hey, listen, I know that you guys are really happy about what's going on, but November, for teams like yourself, this is the month that you focus is the key. Don't read everything that's been published about yourself up to this point. You need to focus. And of course, the Indiana just being good fans and stuff's like, you don't worry about us. We're good. And then they almost lose at Penn State. And it's like, welcome to the party, y'all.
Yeah.
And so you have Louisville. They're not focused. We see that loss. We see Virginia lose. What happens the week after is we know that practice is going to be really, really nuts. So you have that going on with Louisville. Let's talk about Clemson. You ask a very important question. Can they stack performances? Well, it would be a first because, they beat North Carolina. Yeah, they beat BC, but, come on.
Teams are terrible.
They're very, very terrible. So you go and you play – you're coming off this Florida State win, and now you're going to play a mad, irritated Louisville team on an off night, I mean, I'm like the show me state. You're going to have to show me Clemson because this entire season you've proven to me that and here's the thing, and you probably saw this, and I was going to ask you this just a second ago. You've seen Clemson play during their heyday. You've seen Clemson play a lot, just like we've seen Florida State play a lot.
Sure.
And in their heyday. You can tell that at one moment Clemson will do something that looks elite, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then it's like it goes away.
Yeah.
And you're like, what just happened? And so for me, I'll believe it when I see it. Very important fact here. If my memory serves me correct, this is the first game all season long, going into this Louisville game, that Clemson is not favored to win. Believe it or not.
Huh.
They have been favored to win every game this year, even against y'all. They're going into Louisville. They're not the favorite as of the making of this video. So it'll be very interesting to see how Louisville responds. Brom, I think that Brom gets up for games like this. Again, it goes back to focus. When you're playing California, are you really focused?
Yeah.
Probably not, and that's what gets you. So it'll be interesting to see if we can stack the performance. The defense has to continue to play better, and the offense can't take their foot off the pedal. Good grief, we just need to get them to put their foot on the pedal initially, and then go from there.
Yeah, you're right about them looking elite at times, and then other times just like, what are we doing? Like there were plays early in that game where I thought Florida State's defense was playing well enough, but Clemson was also just shooting itself in the foot. Cade missing guys, throwing behind guys, skipping balls, drops, whatever the situation is, allowing pressure that kind of got his feet moving. And Florida State's been terrible at pressuring the quarterback all year. And so for Clemson to allow pressure, you're like, well, why are you allowing pressure to this Florida State team that cannot get after anybody? So you're right. Like, and it's so confusing too, because usually, and I just think that has to do with the talent. I also just wonder if there's a lack of focus. And at the same time, the other team does make plays at times, right? Like I don't want to take everything away from Florida State. They made some good plays in that game, especially defensively when you get after it. And sometimes guys are just going to win one-on-one battles. But yeah, I think it's a very tricky spot for Clemson because, man, Louisville is going to be on a different level. And they're 2-0 on Friday nights. They're very tough to play up there on Friday nights. And I think Brom is a heck of a coach. Not taking anything away from Dabo. Like we kind of know what the accolades are there historically and what he's been able to do. But I think Brom is a really good, like in-game coach, game day coach, get his guys up and get them ready. And Louisville will not have the issues that Florida State had. Like if Clemson starts slow, like I think they did on Saturday night, and Florida State just couldn't take advantage of it. You look at that the other way. If Florida State had been able to capitalize on a few things and catch a pass and make a field goal and not fumble inside the 10, what if that game's 17-7, right? What if Clemson's down by 10 and Florida State scored 3 straight times? Does it go the other way where Clemson kind of quits, and I don't think the fumble might've been it, but like, you're not doing anything to make a guy miss a field goal. Right, unless you block it, right, which they didn't. But like, you're not doing anything to make a guy miss. You're not doing anything to make a guy drop a wide open pass. And so, to me, Clemson, now they did a good job of capitalizing on Florida State's mistakes, but they didn't really cause a lot of Florida State's mistakes. Like Florida State shot themselves in the foot, and then Clemson said, "Okay, thank you very much. Like we'll go out and we'll kind of capitalize on your failure." And I don't think Louisville is going to do that. I like Miller Moss. I like some of their weapons. They run the ball extremely well. Florida State, I thought Cromaw ran okay, and Sam Singleton did, like there were some guys that ran the ball okay, but I do think that Louisville will be able to run the ball more effectively. And that's a big concern I have for Clemson in this one is if Louisville establishes the run at home, I mean, I'll just tell you, I'd be shocked if Clemson held Louisville to 10 points, right? And I don't know if Clemson held Florida State to 10 points or Florida State just refused to score the ball, but I think it's going to be tough to hold them down. And I like Louisville in this situation, but man, with the ACC this year, I don't know how. I don't have confidence in anything. Like this could go. I mean, Clemson could win this by 14, and I would be a little surprised, but I don't know that I'd be shocked because the ACC is just a mess right now. And Louisville could win this by 14, and I certainly wouldn't be surprised. Like I wouldn't be shocked. I think there are so many ways that this could go down.
I mean, we're sitting in a league that has a 5-way tie for first place. And those records, we know they're going to change because who's playing one another. But those records overall range from 8-1 overall, all the way down to 5-4 Duke, who's 4-1 in the conference. Now we know some matchups are going on over the next few weeks that will definitely, someone has to lose, so that's going to narrow that down. But you're right. I mean, this game, I mean, I could see Louisville winning by 21 points, and then I could see Clemson coming in and just really being fired up, maybe build off some momentum, which I doubt. But if they did, could you say, hey, beating Louisville by 3 points would be like such a surprise? Maybe a little bit, but anyway, I think the key for Clemson's defense, first off, is we have to continue to play assignment football, like when you're bringing the blitz from the edge. The reason that one of the reasons that was successful against y'all and Terrell ended up with 2 sacks is because there had to be coverage over the top. Now, I didn't go back and rewatch the play, but there had to be. Duke made them pay. So if you go in and you do that against Miller Moss and no one's over the top, it's going to be touchdown all day long. Bell's incredible. You talked about Brown. Isaac Brown can play football. Bell, I mean, good grief, 62 receptions, 792 yards. This guy's a big dude. I mean, he's a big dude out in space and so on. The key for us, I think, defensively, not only is managing the run, but Miller Moss has thrown 7 touchdowns. There's been times that I've seen Brom pretty ticked off at him. So if we could hit him a couple of really good times, make him throw some errant passes, that could win for us. Let's go to the offensive side of the football for Clemson. Clemson starts slow. They always start slow. Clemson's, I mean, it's just, oh my goodness, almost every game against a good football team, they always start slow, and hence why we have the season that we have. Started slow against Duke, was down 21-7. Georgia Tech started off slow. That first quarter ended up costing you the football game, but you know what? There's 4 quarters in football. With all of that said, if Clemson can come out and do something they really haven't done all season, unless it was against a terrible football team, and start off fast and then play consistent from that point on, they stand a chance with Louisville. It's just I'm having a hard time seeing that.
What is, as we wrap up, I think I'm taking Louisville by 3 in this. I do think it's a good game. I think Clemson does some things well. I'm not buying Louisville as much as I did. I don't have a score, but what's your prediction in this? Way early. This is Monday morning, but we'll do it anyway.
Well, barring any crazy injuries or someone gets incarcerated for slapping an old woman over the head and taking their pocketbook, as long as everything stays as is, I haven't done my prediction yet on my channel, but I'll give you this. A mad Louisville team with a coach who can coach. And if you watch my channel, folks, you know I beat the drum of coaching matters. Right now, Jeff Brom has it way more together, even coming off of a loss to California, than the Clemson Tigers does, and I'm going to leave that right there. I see Louisville as the favorite, but I'll give my official prediction in a few days.
Where can people check that out? Where can they find it?
You can find me on Clemson Football Live on YouTube. Check me out there. Also, my other channel, national channel, you've referenced it just a second ago, another college football podcast where I talk about college football as a whole. So I'll be previewing some of the big games as this season shakes out and we know who's who. So appreciate you having me on, dude.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.